be the most effective at reversing the most common muscular imbalances and joint misalignments that I see in my practice that I have been doing for 42 years. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Your Second 50, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Judy Terrell Show. And if you're joining me on this episode, then you are at episode 2 in my 6-part series on what exercises can seniors over 60, 70, and 80 do to reverse the imbalances that happen in our bodies from living everyday life and our everyday life musculoskeletal patterns of movement that lead to imbalances, tightening, injuries, pain syndromes. All right. So, we get into habituated behaviors and patterns of movement. And these exercises that I've hand chosen for my over 60, 70, 80 population are chosen to be the most effective at reversing the most common muscular imbalances and joint misalignments that I see in my practice that I have been doing for 42 years. And I have specialized in the over 50 population since I turned 50, which is now 10 years ago because I just turned 60. And I am a very fit 60-year-old, and I have many clients that are very fit 60s, 70s, and now into their 80s, a growing population of 80s that I am working with. But I also have an equal and growing number of, the mothers and fathers of my clients that are in their 50s themselves or 60s themselves. And I have a growing population of clients that are older or same age, 60s and 70s, that are definitely not conditioned. They're definitely not fit people. And yet, interestingly, whether you're the fit 60, 70 plus person, 50, 60, 70 plus person, or a less fit person, we all still are living in the same culture, and we are engaging in similar day-to-day movement patterns that are creating imbalances that can create pain and injuries. So I've chosen exercises that anybody can do, 98% of the population of the 50, 60, 70, and 80-year-olds that will be viewing this, so you. And so regardless of your fitness level, you will be able to do the exercises I'm choosing for this series and still get the positive benefits of them. All right. So that said, this is the second of 2 exercises that I'm presenting to reverse the effects of everyday life and gravity having us pitch forward. I'm going to move my chair a little bit and sit up. So everyday life, we have the tendency of rolling forward, having a forward head. We tend to walk like that because we're always in a rush to get somewhere. Gravity pushing down, especially on taller people who are like 6 foot and taller, will get this like very even more pronounced folding forward. We're on our computers. We're sitting like this. We're on our phones looking like this. We're watching TV sitting rounded backs in chairs like this. So I said in the first episode of this series, I tend to do 2 exercises for the muscles of the back upper body for every one, if I choose to do any for the front body for my 50, 60, 70, and 80-year-olds, because everyday life is moving us in this direction. So like, for instance, I have clients that will say, well, I read, I should do 100 push-ups a day. So even though I'm modifying them, I'm going to try and do 100 push-ups a day. What do you think of that? And I say, I think it's a terrible idea. I would rather see you do 100 of the exercise I'm going to show today, row exercises, because when you're doing push-ups, you are further accentuating the everyday life movement pattern that's bringing our shoulders forward. So it's really not something that a 50, 60, 70-year-old should be doing is a lot of chest work. What we need to be doing is exercises that are pulling the back muscles, helping to strengthen them so they can properly scaffold the bones of our upper body and then keep the joints being able to flow fluidly without grinding and rubbing and abrasions inside the joint. All right, so that said, this is exercise number 2 for the muscles of your upper back shoulders, your upper back, like upper back muscles. So to use technical terms, the deltoid muscles, the rhomboid muscles, the trapezius, and in this instance, the latissimus dorsi muscles. And for the layperson, that's the back of your shoulders, the middle of your shoulder blades, the upper, like lower part of your neck, and these big butterfly muscles that span and cover your ribs in the back. All these muscles work together to keep us in proper alignment, but everyday life movement patterns, for decades is pushing us in the opposite direction. All right, so exercise number 2, the one that I'm presenting right now, is I'm going to do it in 2 ways. I'm going to show you how to do it standing, but then I'm also going to show you how you can do it seated, because some of us can't stand but still need this, or it's a struggle to stand, variety of reasons, knee problems, hip problems, whatever, fatigue, So I'm going to show you in 2 ways. Now, you need one piece of equipment. My first exercise in this series, we used the flat bands. All right, this exercise, you can use that same band, but it does work better to use a tube. Now I have it set up over here, which I'm going to get up and stand and show you in just a second. But the tubes have handles and they're like round tubular. And you can buy these in a series online in all your fitness shopping places. The big box stores have a fitness department, specialty fitness stores, and then online. You want to get a set of them so you have a variety of resistances, because as you improve, you're going to be able to use one that's a little bit like thicker and has more resistance. And when you start off, you might have to use something a little bit lighter, or you might need to use a lighter one for one exercise, but a little bit heavier one for another exercise because of the strength of your body. So you want to get a set of tubes. Now let me stand up and show you. I have this set up right here, and this is what the tubes look like. They've got the handles, they've got the round, it's a tubing as opposed to those flat bands, all right? Now, this exercise, you have to put this around something stable. So a lot of times people have, in their basements, they might have like the poles. You might have something like I have here, a piece of exercise equipment, a treadmill, or this is an elliptical. You can also have somebody, a partner, hold this, and you're pulling against them holding it. When you buy these tubes, they also come with what's called a door anchor. It's like a little loop of fabric with a ball on one side. So you can actually close this into a door and then have it in a door. So I want to demonstrate it here against this solid, this is not going to move when I pull on it. It could be like I said, like anything in your house that is stable enough for you to wrap this around. So look around, people are creative, or it comes with a door anchor, so then put it in the door. So what you're going to do with this is you're standing, you take hold of the handles, and you move back far enough so that there's a little bit of tension to start, so it's not gapping, right? And then you're going to stand and bring your shoulder blades together to start, kind of lifting your chest. Engage your abs by kind of drawing your lower belly up and in. You take a breath, and then you're going to, it's basically a rowing exercise. All right, so you're pulling. You want to think about your elbows sliding past your ribs. And the exercise is about bringing your elbows as far back behind you as you possibly can. Hold them there for a second and then release. Now, again, just like with the band that I demonstrated in the first of the series, this, you obviously have to pull it back. So you got to kind of brace yourself. So that's you're getting core work as well. But be careful when you release because it'll snap you back and you don't want that to happen. You can get hurt by doing that. So be aware that you're going to pull and then guide it forward. The reps that you want to try and do is somewhere between 12 and 15. The count is a 2 count back and a 2 count forward. So it's a controlled, slow. You're not trying to do this with velocity. Okay, nice and controlled. 12 to 15. When you pull back, you're thinking about your shoulder blades closing like elevator doors and then really opening them up again as you come forward. And this is your exercise. Now, if you can't stand or you've got balance issues, then you take a chair, which I happen to have handy right here, and you can either have someone hand this to you or you have it yourself. You're sitting down, and then it's the exact same exercise, but now you're you don't have as much core work, but you're still getting all the targeted work here in this whole upper back complex. So again, the reason why I'm having two of these exercises that are kind of looking like they're targeting the same group of muscles, and they are, this one gets a little bit more of these larger latissimus dorsi muscles than the first one I demonstrated in the first episode. But they are also both hitting this upper shoulder and middle back between the shoulder blades. And why is that? Because everyday life is pushing down gravity or forward, and I'm exaggerating, but we get into this. And that leads to a variety of shoulder impingements and pain syndromes and outright injuries. Because then when we're doing our everyday movement, we're misbalanced. We're out of alignment here. And then the joint, the muscles and the bones in the joint are not free floating in, the way they're mechanically designed to be. And then you'll get grinding, grating, inflammation, bursitis, tendinitises, a whole variety of things that leads to impingements, labrum tears, a whole host of upper shoulder injuries that can be avoided if we are doing exercises to counter everyday movement patterns and positions that we're in too much in everyday life. So we need these exercises to reverse that and keep us balanced. All right. So this is exercise number 2. It's my second one for the targeted area of the upper back and shoulders. And it is by design that I've chosen 2. I didn't make a mistake by putting 2 of the same area. I said in the first episode in the series that for every, I do 2 back exercises and even 3 to every 1 chest, if I'm even doing chest for a 60, 70, and 80-year-old person, because it's much more important that we get the back in than the chest at that point of our lives when it comes to properly scaffolding and keeping the body in alignment in the most optimal, healthful way. All right, so this is exercise number 2. And as I said in the first episode, by the time we get to the end of the series, we'll have 6 exercises that will be a routine that you can then put together and do it all at the same time. Or you can pick 2 of them to do Monday, 2 of them to do Tuesday. You can put this together in any variety of ways, but you do want to try and get all 6 in because I'm targeting joints and muscles that tend to become the most out of alignment, misbalanced. And if you put them all together, by the end of the series, you'll have all 6. They are designed to counterbalance the negative imbalances that come from everyday living. And that can be it'll be a routine. I'm designing this so that you have a routine when you put them all together. So stay tuned because we're going to have exercise number 3 will be the next installment. It's not an upper back and shoulder. It's now my next moving into another area of the body that is frequently has a lot of, I have a lot of clients come in with pain syndromes and an exercise to reverse it. So exercise 3 is coming up, on doc right now, waiting for you. And, I'm doing this series as I do for all my series that I put together. I want to help all my clients and all my viewers and myself to make my second 50 years even better than my first 50. And there's some new things that we need to do in the second 50 so that we can achieve that. And that's the motivation for this series. And if you are not a senior yourself, I'm also targeting, if you're in your 30s or 40s, but you have elder parents that would benefit from this, I'm putting this out so that you then can show your parents these exercises and take care of a loved one, even if you're not in the 50, 60, 70 age group yourself. All right. So as always, thanks for watching and be well. And I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.